You'll see the little. Hey, we're on air.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Okay, welcome to Wattpad4's Holiday Extravaganza. We have some super awesome guests here today, and I won't introduce them. I'll let them introduce themselves, but you're going to see me clicking around a lot because I'm going to be following.
Hey, we're on air.
What is happening?
Sorry.
Okay, welcome to Wattpad4's Holiday I'm hearing double, but can we figure out what's going on?
Someone's YouTube is playing the live stream.
But you're going to see me clicking around a lot.
It's not me, that's it.
Who's doing it?
No, it's not me.
Trying to get.
What is happening? Oh, it's very loud. Who's doing it? Oh,
I think that was me. I think it was.
Oh, Leah. Okay. Well,
I had so many technical difficulties.
okay. Well, we're going to be following the Twitter feed, so if you have any questions for us, use the Wattpad4 hashtag. That's hashtag Wattpad4. And we already have some of your questions that you guys have been sending throughout the day. Thank you so much. I think there's over like 100 of them already, so that's crazy.
Yay.
Yeah. And later on in the chat, I'm going to be posting a link to a raffle copter, and there are free books, t-shirts, other cool swag. It's the biggest one yet, and it's international, so make sure you stick around till the end of the chat to enter into that. So let's meet these awesome guests. Look at all those pretty faces down there. Who wants to go first? I am going to nominate. Let's start with Gabby. And Gabby, tell us about yourself and the work you're most known for.
Hi, I'm Gabby Cabezut. My most popular work is Friends with Benefits. I'm from Mexico, and I'm an ambassador too, and I run the Roman Sparks profile with Rachel too. Yeah, that's it, I guess.
All right, let's just go down the line there. That's you, Leah.
That's me. We're like, oh, we're introducing ourselves?
Yeah.
How's it me? You're next to Gabby.
Yeah.
I'm not next to Gabby. Lindsay is next to Gabby where I'm looking.
Okay.
Everyone has a different order because they're in the bottom right.
Leah, introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Leah. I write as Leah Crichton on Wattpad. My book, The Enchantment of Emma Fletcher, is coming out on March 13th, 2017. And ebooks are in the raffle copter. And I'm part of these lovely ladies, the Wattpad4.
Okay.
Yay.
Next in line, we have Lindsay. Ooh. I see you, Gab.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm Do Not Microwave on Wattpad, and I'm known for the cell phone swap, which is going to be published on May 2nd under the new title Textrovert.
Sweet. Monica.
Oh, I'm next. Oh, hi everyone. No one knows. I'm Monica. I'm known as the Set Dreamer on Wattpad. I guess the books I'm most known for is Samara Circus and Witchland's Rights. And I am one of the Wattpad4. And yeah, and that's everything.
Nice. Rachel.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm known as Knights Rachel on Wattpad. The book I'm most known for would be My Brother's Best Friend. And I like polar bears.
They're a good pair.
Awesome.
All right. Who's the lovely gentleman in this bunch of roses?
Oh, is it me next? Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Taran Matharu, author of the Summoner series. I started writing it on Wattpad, and it went viral. It was read over 3 million times in less than 6 months, and then it went on to be published in 13 languages around the world. And now I write full time, and I'm a New York Times bestselling author. And I guess the series would be best described as Harry Potter meets Lord of the Rings meets Pokemon. So if that tickles your fancy, I guess check it out.
That tickles my fancy.
Thanks.
Erin.
Hey guys, I'm Leah Latimer. I'm hoping that my microphone, my headphones aren't working, so if there's like echoey stuff, it's usually me, so I'm just gonna mute myself if that happens. I am Leah Latimer on Wattpad. Probably the best known book is Frost. I mostly write fantasy and occasionally dark, weird fantasy and science fiction.
That leaves me. I'm Rebecca Skye. I'm also part of Wattpad4, those 4 lovely ladies you met. I'm probably most known for my book called The Love Curse. That's on Wattpad, and it's been read almost 12 million times now. Oh, we got Gabby back. Awesome. Okay, so we are going to go through and try to answer as many of your questions as possible. And if you guys have an answer to the question we're asking, please feel free to tweet it on the Twitter chain chat page thingy and use the Wattpad4 hashtag so we can find it. Okay, question 1 comes from, let's go with, so we have like 80 questions from Diliana. Is that how you say your name? Diliana Catmit. And her first one is, when did you guys realize you wanted to be an author? So whoever wants to take that first. Don't all rush at once.
I guess I'll go. So I knew I wanted to be an author, I guess, since I was 9 years old, or maybe even younger. My mom says I started writing when I was 7, but I've always been telling everyone that it's 9, so I guess it's 9 now. And yeah, I always wanted to be a writer. I was a huge fan of books, and I wanted to make up my own stories. And yeah, I've just been writing my whole life. But my parents always kind of pushed me towards business, so I always kind of worked towards kind of studying business and going into business. And then when this Wattpad thing happened, I got to realize my dream and become an author instead, which is pretty cool.
I think modern authors have they need to have a lot of a business sense nowadays too. Maybe you can talk about that later.
It does help. It does help.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to answer that?
I'll go. I had no idea I wanted to even really write until Wattpad. I was a huge reader, always a big bookworm. And so I read a lot. And then when kind of the indie self-publishing boom happened, I got really inspired by these authors. And so one night when I had a little bit too much to drink, I found the courage to post my first chapter, which was a cell phone swap, up on Wattpad. And it kind of came from there. And now I love it. And I can't imagine not being a writer.
Yay for liquid courage. That's awesome. I guess I'll go next. Or Rachel, do you want to go?
Monica, you're there.
Can you see me?
Yes, you're adorable.
Oh, okay, good. I thought I was having technical difficulties again. Yeah, I mean, I started writing, like, I guess, like Taran when I was really little, but it just stayed in like notebooks, and I never did anything with it. And then I picked it back up a few years ago when I found Wattpad, and I just thought, you know, what the heck, I'll just throw some stuff on there, and people actually started reading it. It just blew up from there. I thought, you know, I really, really want to do this now, so haven't looked back since.
Did you hear the question, Gabby? Oh, she's frozen out. Rachel, do you want to answer?
Yep.
Sure. So I started writing in probably like middle school. Basically, I would watch a movie, and I remember the movie. It was Firehouse Dog, and I hated the ending of it. Like, I love the whole movie. I can probably quote it, but I hated the ending. And I was like, I can rewrite the ending. Don't worry about it. So I like rewrote the ending of the movie, and then I was like, I should try and write my own book. This is a lot of fun. And then, I don't know, just kind of sprouted from there. And I ended up posting it on Wattpad, and things got crazy.
They do. Wattpad has that for all of us. How many of us, wait, just out of curiosity, was Wattpad the first place we posted our work?
Yeah, definitely.
All of you guys? Yeah. That's awesome. I'm going to answer this question too because it's a cool one. For me, I was always obsessed with books. I would collect pop bottles as kids and return them and then use the money to buy books because my family didn't have a lot of money. And I never thought I could be a writer because I didn't do very good in English in school because I didn't really pay attention. I was too busy daydreaming. But I found Wattpad through my brother, and he encouraged me after a few months of me reading on Wattpad to try writing, and I did. And the moment I started, I was hooked, and I haven't stopped, and it's the only thing I want to do with my life. And so, yeah, that's for me, and I'm really thankful for Wattpad and for my brother for helping point me towards it.
I feel like I have a different answer, I guess.
Okay.
My dad was a writer, so I just thought that was what you did. Like, you're supposed to be a writer.
That's cool.
my mom was a teacher, my dad was a writer, so I've always wanted to be a writer. Started writing in kindergarten, never stopped, but I didn't start writing seriously until my mom passed away in 2006, just because I thought there's no time left to write that book, right? Like, what are you waiting for? And then I found Wattpad.
Nice.
Is Gabby with us? Could she?
I don't know.
Yeah, sorry. I've had some technical difficulties, but I'm here. I always wanted to write in English. It's weird because I can't write in Spanish. It's hard for me. And then when I found Wattpad, I found the best platform to write my stories and to post them.
Nice. Is that everybody? No, Erin, you haven't gone. Do you want to answer?
Yeah. So I'm similar to Taran. I don't even necessarily remember when I first started writing. My mom tells me I used to pretend to scribble on scraps of paper and pretend I was a famous author. That was probably before I could actually write properly. And then I wrote like tons and tons of ridiculous little short stories and stuff. But my first thing I posted on Wattpad was because it had been rejected by a bunch of agents. So I figured I might as well try posting it. And then to my shock, people actually liked it. And I was just sort of stunned that it reached 1 million reads and after it had been rejected so much. So that really encouraged me to keep posting on Wattpad. And now I have, I don't know, like 12 full-length books up there or something ridiculous like that. So yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So we have Liz Charnes asks, any advice for winning a Wattie Award? Did anybody here win a Wattie? I've won one.
I've won one.
Okay, go for it.
Well, mine was for Undiscovered Gems. So I didn't get like something super popular or anything like that. But I would just say, honestly, like I've also entered other books that I haven't won a Wattie. And as heartbreaking as it is, I think you just have to remember that it's just one award and that to keep on writing and not to get discouraged. But I would, just keep on writing. I think that's the only way you can win a Wattie is by posting stories. So keep on writing.
That's great advice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll answer. Did anyone else want to?
Don't be shy. Go for it.
So I've won 2 Watties, both for People's Choice Awards, and I'd say the best way to do it is just you have to really rally up your So they changed the way they do People's Choice Awards since I entered it. But when I did it, it was like 7 days. And when you hit like day 3, people are like, I don't really want to do this anymore. Like, thanks, but no thanks. So you really have to like offer prizes and keep rallying your forces. And that's how you get through the People's Choice Awards. I think it's only 24 hours now, though, which I think is a lot better because 7 days is a long time to get people to keep tweeting. But yeah, that would be my best advice for going for a People's Choice Award.
Nice. Okay, let's go to the next question. Oh, did you want to say something? No. Okay, next question. Tim Johnson and Mini Books, they basically asked the same question, which is, what is your craziest writer or Wattpad moment?
I can definitely go with this because it's pretty much like every time I meet a writer that I think is really cool, I end up doing something ridiculously stupid. Or I just have being in a ridiculously stupid situation, which some of us
involving a taxi.
There's certain things that I will not speak of. But my favorite is with Diana Gabaldon when I nearly football tackled her at Surrey International Writers Conference because I fell down the stairs, partway down the stairs, and I almost face planted on Diana Gabaldon because I was gonna go say like, oh hi, like I'm so excited to meet you, and then luckily she was like looking the other way at someone else and didn't see like my spectacular like pin windmilling arms, But yeah, so every time, literally every time. And then I met Cassandra Clare and Holly Black and just stood there and kind of was like blank face and literally had nothing intelligent to say. So like every time I've met a writer I've liked, it's been like, yeah, ridiculous.
That's funny. I think my craziest moment was when I had a fan fiction competition on Wattpad where lots of my readers wrote fan fiction of the book, and I got a message from someone who they said, "Hey, I want to write like my own original character in your world," and they would be going to Vulcan's Academy, which is the kind of military academy in the book series, and he would be kind of studying alongside Fletcher. Like, is that okay? And I was like, yeah, of course. And they're like, and my character would be gay with your character Fletcher and have a relationship with him. And I was like, that's okay too. Like, you know, fan fiction is what you want from it. And then she was like, and then my character would get your character Fletcher pregnant. I didn't know that was a fan fiction thing, but apparently it's a thing. So I thought that was interesting. I was still, so at the same time, I was like, you know what, it's okay. Like, if you want to do that, that's fine. But then she said, and then when the baby comes out, it's going to be you, Taran, and you'll be a character in the movie. And that was when I was like, you know what?
No.
Like, don't make it me. I'm gonna I have to draw the line somewhere. That's the line. Like, please don't do that. So that was probably my craziest one. But she actually wrote a brilliant fan fiction. She ended up winning the competition. Although,
just no baby Taran.
It's really long. Like, she serialized the whole thing. I've read like a lot of it. And she ended up like not doing any of that stuff. Like, I think she kept the gay relationship, but all the rest of it kind of went out the window. And it was really good. And she won the competition. So, you know, maybe it made an impression on me. I don't know.
It's got to be some kind of weird metaphor with the character giving birth to the author. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way of looking at it.
Oh my gosh.
You guys can share positive crazy too, not just weird crazy.
It's not nearly as fun.
I'm sure everyone had it.
Okay, I have one. I have a weird, crazy one. I once had a reader crochet or knit me a teddy bear with her hair and mail it to me.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was a weird one for me.
That might take the top spot there, Rebecca.
Thank you.
It's like voodoo doll stuff,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what to. I was like, when I opened the box, I'm like, oh, thank you. So yeah. So fan mail is not always as PG or whatever you would call it as you expect.
Reminds me of Maggie Steve Otter saying that she had fans send her their used socks.
What?
Which I don't know why. The life of an author is so glamorous.
Has anyone here had a marriage proposal?
Have what?
A marriage proposal?
No, just you.
Yeah, but you've had more than one.
No, I had someone ask if I would have their children.
Oh, that's probably.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure you could be my child, so no.
Oh man.
I've had people ask me if I was married and then accuse me of lying. But other than that, I haven't. You're too young to be married. You're lying. No. But I would lie anyways because you're creeping me out.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have a weird one? If not, we should move on to the next question here.
Okay, I'll throw a positive crazy.
Okay, good.
So positive note. My book, My Brother's Best Friend, currently has like, so when it first started getting reads, I wrote it on a whim. So I was like, wow, people actually like this totally cliche book. And so, and then it kept getting reads, and right now it's at 98 million, which I never thought would ever be possible. And my grandfather actually told me that it's not possible and that I was lying. I was like, no. So yeah, that's my positive crazy. I still don't believe it every time I open up my app.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next question because we have so many and we're almost halfway through. What does it take to be a Wattpad star? I don't even know if we can really answer this, but we can kind of speculate. Does anybody?
Write a lot and
Right.
post often, interact with your fans, followers. Yeah, just stay positive on social media and be, supportive of other writers. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what we all do.
I think that's huge, Monica. Like showing support for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And staying positive, definitely, too. Like, I mean, you want to be a good, in some ways you're representing Wattpad. So you want to present yourself in a way that is, I think of my writing as a business. Yes, it's fun, but at the same time, like, it is a business. And so I always try to stay as like friendly as possible, even if like you get a really annoying or mean comment, just don't respond. Don't engage the trolls.
Yeah, I would second that with being positive and professional, not even necessarily obviously in response to fans, but also if you don't win something you wanted to win, or you don't get something you wanted to get, or your story doesn't have enough reads, do you think it deserves more? I've seen people go on full rants on Wattpad and Facebook and tweet it like they're so mad it's unfair, and I'm like, well, no one really wants a part of that attitude that you're displaying, and that goes for fans and the people that run the STARS program. They don't necessarily want people that are going to be super negative if things aren't going the way that they want them to go. So like keeping a positive professional attitude if you want to make it in the writing in general is important.
I'll just say that like interacting with your fans too. I was really bad about it, and then like after I went to New York, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start dedicating time to this like every day and just like reply to comments every day, and it has really like made an impact on like just getting more comments and like people wanting to interact with you. So I think like that's a really big one too.
Yeah. Cool. Do we have any last minute ads in for that one, or should we move on to the next question? Nobody? Okay, I'm moving on. George Harrow and a bunch of other people ask, did having your story on Wattpad affect positively or negatively your chance of getting published? And if so, positively, did your publisher let you keep it on? Did they make you take it down? Can you just talk a bit about that process? Who wants to start? So I know we have a few that are allowed to talk about this topic, whose books are out there. We have Lindsey, Taran, Gabby, Leah. You guys want to talk?
Okay, I guess for me, it was seen as a positive. It's, to be honest, like they don't look at it so much as a sales avenue. They don't necessarily think, hey, this book's got X amount of reads on Wattpad, so X amount of people are gonna buy it. I think they just, they think it's a nice story. It's a nice story for PR. It's a nice story, to get people talking that your book went viral on this website, and they like that. And I guess they also see it as proof of concept. So they see it as, this is something that people identify with. This is a story that people like. So it kind of gives you that edge, because if there's a story that barely anyone's read except for an agent and an editor, it hasn't had that many eyes on it. So I guess they like that side of things as well. So those are, I think, are two of the more important things that they looked at. I do think that if you put your book on Wattpad in its entirety, and you leave it on there for a while, and it doesn't get more than, say, like 100,000 reads. I mean, I don't know what the number would be in an agent's head. I think that perhaps potentially it could hurt your chances slightly. But if that's the case, you just need to unpublish it from Wattpad, pretend it never happened, and start querying. So it's, I guess that's something that people ask me about sometimes. And but overall, it's I think it's something that a lot of people could do. To help them get published, and certainly works for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that there's this like weird misconception for people that like if you put it up there, it's out there, it's on there. I'm like, yeah, but you can unpublish it and then it's not on there. So it's not a deal breaker if it goes up and it's not super popular, and you're like, but now I want to query it. Well, take it down and query it. I've never run into an agent or editor that's been like, well, it was on Wattpad for a month. It's a huge problem,
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep disconnecting, but I had two versions, like with Prince with Benefits. Pulp fiction books contacted me through Wattpad, and the story is still there. But with Limitless Publishing, I had to take my story down. So it depends on the publisher too.
Yeah, I had a kind of unique experience because Wattpad kind of acted as my agent. So the cell phone swap is staying up on Wattpad permanently forever until the end of time. But my published version is very different. There's different things in it. So my one on Wattpad is kind of like the first draft. And then I now have my published version, and it's also getting like translated into a bunch of different languages. So, I mean, for me, it was really positive. But again, I feel like I had kind of a unique experience than most.
My experience was also a bit different because I had been writing Emma Fletcher at the time, posting it to Wattpad, and you three girls convinced me to do, was it Pitch Wars, I think? Something like that?
One of the Twitter pitches, I think.
Yeah, one of the Twitter pitches. And I hadn't even finished writing it, and you're like, just do it, just do it. So I did, and I got a few bites, which led me to querying it, which eventually, actually not very long, led to my agent offering, and he asked me to take it down from Wattpad. So I don't know what the publisher thinks. I know they were very interested in my Wattpad numbers when they offered, but.
And it's interesting that your agent asked you to take it down, because I queried The Love Curse that's on Wattpad, and I got quite a lot of agent offers on it, and none of them asked me to take it down, so it's still up there. So that was it's kind of interesting. So I think you can see all of our stories are different. There's going to be agents and probably publishers that ask you to take it down. There's going to be some that let you keep it up. So I think you just need to keep searching until you find the right fit for you.
Yeah, I mean, so just to add my perspective, I got my book deal before the entire book had been entirely uploaded on Wattpad. I think it was maybe 7 chapters off being finished, maybe 5, I can't remember exactly. And my publishers were like, yeah, just leave it like that, and tell people to, if they'd like to read the rest, to go buy it. And then I started getting a few complaints from people who were like, oh, I've read so much of it, and then I'm buying a book just to read 7 more chapters. So I just reduced the sample to something that people felt more comfortable with. And that was that. But as a thank you to my readers for supporting me, I then wrote an entirely free novella for them to read called Summoner Origins, which is up in its full entirety on Wattpad for anyone to read. So I kind of had to balance that in some ways. But that was my choice. It's nothing the publishers told me to do.
Mm-hmm. I know we have a question that's in the same vein. So just saying, like, I think it's always a good idea if you've got success on Wattpad to add it into your query letter, even if you're not querying this specific story that you've got on Wattpad. I always did it so that I mentioned all my statistics and my fan base on Wattpad in my query letters, but I would be querying something completely different.
I did that too, Erin.
Yeah, mention it.
I think it helps. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I actually put together a spreadsheet graph on where every single day I take note of my reads, and like I had a graph that I sent all the agents, which was like, this is how my reads like kind of went up on a day-to-day basis over the past 3-4 months, and they loved that. They absolutely loved it.
Now, actually, Wattpad provides those graphs for us now in the author chat thing, stats thing. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
They didn't have that back then. Although they don't go back that far on Wattpad. Like I don't think you could look at a 4-month period. So
really?
Yeah, but still useful, still very useful.
That's a good idea. It just shows like rising engagement of your fan base. Very good.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to another question here. Tees Finley asks, if you could choose to be a character from one of your books, who would it be and why?
Okay, I'll go if I can. I'd love to be Emily, of course, from Prince with Benefits, because who wouldn't want to marry a prince? So it's yeah, and she's fun. She's got Latin American. Her dad is Mexican too, so yeah. I'd love to be her.
Okay, I'll go next. So I've always said that like I really want to like go on tour, but I don't want to be the famous one. I just want to be like, thanks best friend for getting famous. I'm gonna hop along with you. So because of that, I want to be my character Caitlin Jackson, who her brother is famous, and she just goes along for the ride from my book Along for the Ride. So yeah, that would be me. So I could just tour without all the work.
I think because it's winter right now, I would definitely like to be my character Megan, because she cannot feel the cold, which is actually why I wrote her, because I was in Grand Prairie at the time and freezing my butt off. So the idea of a person that just cannot feel the cold because they have ice powers is really appealing. So
Yeah, I can see that. That'd be awesome. If I could be any character, I'd probably be, there's a really famous, I'm writing this book called Lies of a Makeup Junkie, and it's about a girl who becomes the personal assistant to a famous beauty YouTuber. And so I'd want to be the famous beauty YouTuber because, hey, she gets free makeup. And she also is like, works with like cosmetic brands and like does all this stuff. And I'd be like, heck yes, I want to be her.
Free makeup is a win.
Yeah, right?
Any other people?
I guess I'd be my character, my main protagonist, Fletcher, because he has the coolest demon of all the demons in my series, which is a salamander, which is a kind of like small wingless dragon, if you're trying to picture it, which lives a very long time. It can heal itself as healing saliva, and it breathes fire, and it's just the coolest pet ever. And I'd love to have one of my own. So that's who I'd choose.
also just having cool magic powers in general would be pretty sweet.
That's true. That's true. I would like to do some spells here and there as well.
Anybody else, or should I move on here?
Okay.
Okay. What was the biggest thing to happen to your writing career in 2016?
I still can't announce mine.
That sucks.
I can go if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I published Hopelessly Imperfect with Limitless Publishing. I also started the Romance Perks profile. I also started the Wattpad Squad group, Facebook group, which is awesome. And I got invited to go to Wattpad headquarters to celebrate with them their 10th year anniversary, and that was like the best experience ever.
That's so cool.
Awesome.
I think we should all answer this question. So let's just go down the line. Leah, why don't you go next?
Okay, I'm next. Mine wasn't like one thing, I guess. It was just like a year of firsts, because my book sold in December of last year. So I've now gone through the whole experience of editing, copy editing, doing the cover creation, like so it wasn't one big thing. It's just the whole experience of seeing your book come to life for the first time, which is a big thing, I guess. But that would be the biggest thing that happened to me in 2016.
Nice. Lindsay.
Next.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess honestly, like my answer would be the same as Leah, because I got my book contract in 2015, but throughout 2016, I was editing and I was going through the whole process, and definitely working with Kate Egan, who's my editor. She also edited The Hunger Games, was amazing. Her advice just was invaluable, because obviously I had no really writing experience before this, and just knowing little tips and tricks and things that I should have been doing all along was just great, and I love learning from her.
Nice. We have Monica.
2016, I would say it was probably self-publishing, Finbar Circus. I love that book, but mainly I think I never thought I'd be brave enough to actually self-publish it. So actually going through with it, I think was an achievement because it was just overcoming such a big fear of like, you know, failure and, you know, can I really do this? And the support from the Wattpad community, I think, was a big driving force and, you know, pushing me over that uncertainty. And yeah, and I did it. I finally self-published back in June. So that was one big 2016 highlight.
Awesome.
Nice. I think who's next? Sorry, Rachel.
Okay. For me, it was one of my big things was going to Toronto and getting to meet other Wattpadders and Wattpad HQ and getting that whole experience, meeting Rebecca. Yeah, just the whole experience. And then one other thing was I have never been published before, and so I am going to be published in an anthology, the Snow Anthology. And so that was my first experience ever with like an editor and going through edits and doing that whole thing. And so it was really overwhelming for me, but I really enjoyed the experience. So those are my two big things.
Taran.
So 2016 was an awesome year for me. I had a ton of awesome stuff happen. So I hit the New York Times bestseller list. I got to #2 in ebook for my second book and #3 in hardback in the YA category. And then the week after that, the first book hit #5 in paperback. And then randomly, like possibly even last week, I think it was, the ebook of book 1 hit #7 on the New York Times bestseller list. So that was really cool. Loads of cool stuff happened there. And then, in fact, last week as well, Google announced their best-selling books for 2016, and book 1 and book 2, The Novice and the Inquisition, were #16 and #17 for their biggest like best-selling books of the year on their website on Google Play. So that was really cool as well. And then I sold a 4th book in the Summoner series, which is a prequel to my US publishers and my UK publishers, and then also 3 in an entirely new series as well, which I can't talk about too much because we're still kind of working out how we're gonna pitch it and talk to people about it. But the best way I could describe it is maybe Avatar meets The 100 meets Gladiator, which I know is really hard to picture, but it will make sense when you read it. So that was really cool as well. So I now have 4 books that I'm under contract for, which is really important to me as an author, because, you know, once you sell your first book, you're like, oh, this is great. But it's only when you do your kind of next book deal that you really start to see that you actually have a career as an author, because it is quite you know, you don't know if your first series is going to sell. You don't know if they're going to want to buy more stuff from you. So that was amazing. And then the final thing that I guess it's technically happening next year, but I found out this year is that I'm going on a book tour across the USA next year with Fierce Reads, which is going to be super cool because it's going to be my first like proper book tour, which is going to be awesome. And I guess that's everything.
That's so cool.
It makes me so happy that some people are having awesome 2016s because
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of horribleness in 2016 as well, but with like random flashes of joy and happiness.
Erin, do you want to go?
That's a hard one because, like I said, I can't announce it. But I had something very awesome happen that I'm not allowed to say anything about, which is frustrating. Also, working with my agent in 2016 has been really good because I kind of like, I got her in like late December, so it was very like seat of the pants 2015 when I got my agent. But like it's been, she's my second agent, so it's been cool just like seeing her do her thing and just realize that I did make the right decision and that she's just such an awesome person and that I'm looking forward to working with her for a long time. So that was probably one of the highlights, is just having that affirmation that I made the right choice and that she's like a kick-ass agent. Excuse my French words. So yeah, that was one of the highlights. To go to Hogwarts, I had to say that.
Oh yeah, those pictures made me jealous.
It was amazing.
2016's been pretty rad for me too. I got to meet all of the Wattpad4 girls in New York at WattCon. It was so awesome. I'd met most of them before. I got to go to Wattpad HQ and meet so many other cool authors and the staff, and I just love it there so much. I got an agent, and she signed me off a Wattpad book, so that was really cool. And really awesome stuff is coming from that, but I can't talk about it either, which is torture. But yeah, so I had some good things happen, which was cool because it was a really tough year, like we're talking about, for a lot of people. And it feels weird celebrating almost in a way because so many people are going through such hard times. So that leads me to our next question, which is what advice would you give someone who's struggling, especially a struggling writer right now?
I would suggest, I don't know if they're struggling on Wattpad, but the more you interact with people on Wattpad, like the more you read, you comment, you vote, the better it is for you. Not to do the vote for vote thing, but when you leave, meaningful comments on their stories, people go to your profile and you make friends and stuff, and that's the whole point of Wattpad.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that. Like, Wattpad is a social media platform for storytelling. So if you're just there to write and post your works, but you ignore the social media aspect, you probably won't be as successful, and vice versa. So if you really embrace all aspects of Wattpad and you really just kind of jump in to the social aspect as well as the writing and storytelling aspect, you'll have a pretty good positive experience, and you'll meet some really awesome friends, like these beautiful faces here.
I'm just going to add to that for 1 second. So I've been on Wattpad for 5.5 years, and I did not start talking to a single person on Wattpad until this past year. And my Wattpad experience has changed like 180 degrees. It is so much better when you actually interact with other people on Wattpad, and you learn names and faces and profiles. It is a much better experience. And I struggle a lot with writer's block. Like, I can go months really, like, have nothing. And so I find, like, when you talk to other writers that actually know what you're talking about versus my parents who are like, that's cool, it's really helpful. So when you're surrounded by a community of writers that you can always reach out to, it's a great thing.
I also think that if people are struggling, they should remember why they started writing in the first place. Like, I don't know one writer who's like, I'm going to write to get famous. You're like, I'm going to write because
I think you're trying to like easier ways to get famous.
Right, exactly. I think you should write for you and never give up.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
that's my advice. It's not Wattpad specific, but in general.
Right. I was just going to say that, just like try and find your center again, and, like Leah said, just find why did you start writing in the first place and sharing your work. And, even if that means that you're not sharing what you're writing, that's fine too. But just remember that you write for yourself first, and then, the words will start to flow after that when you take that pressure off. So.
Well, and I feel like if you really love what you're writing, the words come.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Like, don't write for popularity or what you think people want to see from you.
Right.
Write because you're obsessed with whatever it is you're writing and you can't stop.
Yeah.
I have some advice that's maybe it's a little bit more like business-like, I guess. I have an advice book on my profile about how to do well on Wattpad, stuff like saying how often you update in the title of your work, reminding people to vote at the bottom of the chapter if they enjoyed it, that kind of stuff, responding to all your comments, just a whole bunch of advice like that. But I actually have some advice for people who have writer's block or are struggling to get enough words down. So these are like my top tips. I'll be really quick. One is to set a daily target. So try and work out how many words you can feasibly do a day, and then try and do that many words. Making it public as well. It's like announcing that you're going to do a marathon. Like if you don't tell people that you're going to do it, then you can kind of just lie to yourself, not train, and then kind of just not go at the end. So kind of, I don't know, blackmail yourself into doing it by telling everyone, I'm going to write a book and it's going to be done by this time and it's going to be awesome. And then you kind of like look bad if no one's kind of keeping an eye on you. Finding beta readers, I think, is important. It could be your friends and family. Wattpad is also a great place to find beta readers. I think the encouragement and the feedback really helps you get your writing going when people are saying, I'd love to read the next chapter, or just giving you opinions on your chapter can be really important, I think. Also, don't edit. I think if you're editing, I mean, you can edit if you're able to do it while writing, but if you're struggling and you have writer's block, I personally would try not to edit. I'd try and get the words down, and then before you send it to your beta reader, kind of give it a run through. But don't like edit when you're halfway through the book, or you'll get bogged down. Also, every day when you're trying to write, always just say, I'm just going to make a start. So I'm going to like write a paragraph, and then if I don't feel like writing anymore, I'm going to stop. There's a number of times I've done that, and I get into it, and I end up doing like 3 or 4 hours work. Is amazing. So if you just say to yourself, yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit, and then I'm going to go do something else, you end up writing a lot more. And then finally, try and finish mid-sentence. Like it's so hard when you look down and you're going to start writing again, and if you're looking at a blank page because there's a new chapter that you need to start writing, or you're looking at a kind of finished sentence and you need to start a new scene. Try and finish like kind of in the middle of stuff, and that way you can pick up pretty easily when you get off, when you get started on writing. Plot so that you don't write yourself into a corner, and keep it fun. If you're getting bored with your story, try and change things up. Okay, that's it.
You've done that a few times. Okay?
Can I just say how cute you say beta readers? Can you say it again? Can you say it again? That was like adorable. I was trying not to smile.
Oh yeah, I can't even remember how I pronounced it. Is it beta or beta? I don't know which one.
Okay, I say beta.
I said beta readers. I think I said beta.
You said beta. I was like, what's he saying?
Sorry.
It was cute. It was so
It's
cute.
the accent.
Yes. Does anybody else want to answer that, or should we move on here?
I think it's covered.
Okay, I am going to move on because those were pretty good advices. I got a specific question for Gabby. Gabby, is it difficult being an ambassador and a Wattpad star?
I think that you have to be as an ambassador. I don't think that being a Wattpad star is difficult, but I think that being an ambassador makes you want to be on your best behavior like all the time. And, yeah, so that be the difficult part, but I like it, so yeah.
Cool. Gavin Heathrington, our lovely Gav, has asked, when will the Wattpad4 next reunite? Asking because I want to be there for the sheer awesomeness of this foursome.
As soon as possible. I miss you guys so much.
Yeah.
I think I can throw this out there. We're planning on, there's like a tentative WattCon going on in Toronto, and we're kind of planning on going for that. So we'll see.
Yes.
Okay. Another question. This is a big one. What can readers get to look forward to from you in 2017? I think we should all answer this one too. Let's start with Erin and work this way.
Where do we start with me?
I don't even know where I am to you, Rebecca.
This way.
Mine's just the same boring answer. I'll eventually get to announce my big news in 2017.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's the exciting part.
Taryn.
So I guess my book tour across the USA, they haven't announced like dates and locations yet, but it's going to happen around May.
Nice.
My third book is coming out in May 2017, The Battle Mage. So I guess anyone who's read book 1 and book 2 will be looking forward to that as well. Yeah, that's it, I think.
Rachel.
Okay, so if I say it, then it has to happen. That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna, on Wattpad, I'm gonna like finish, I'm like working on too many stories. So I'm gonna at least finish 2 of them in the spring.
Nice.
My goals.
Everybody keep her accountable.
Start yelling at me.
Monica.
Ooh, I plan on self-publishing my other book, of Which One's Rights, and getting to work on the rest of the books in that series. So hopefully I'll finish book 2 by next year sometime. Yeah, and then just, you know, hoping on other things. So that's pretty much all I have lined up so far.
Lindsay.
Well, Textrovert will be released on May 2nd, and the Spanish, Italian, and French versions will probably be around that same time. And then I'll also be working on my story, Lies of a Makeup Junkie and Pledge to Perry.
Nice. And Leah.
My book is, let me shamelessly plug my book one more time. It's coming out on March 13th, 2017.
There's no shame. No shame.
What day was that again? What day?
That would be March 13th, 2016. My agent has another book that's in his hands. Who knows what may or may not happen there. I'm currently writing one for him also that he's waiting for. And I plan to do a lot more updating on Wattpad.
Yes.
Gabby.
I got my next book, Perfectly Imperfect, launches on January, and I need to write the third one. I also have started a cooking profile on Wattpad where we'll share recipes and, you know, books that have to be around food and stuff. And I'm also part of the anthology with Rachel and Kelly and Blount, and so that's getting published in March, I think, and that's going to be really exciting too.
Nice. For me, I get to be like Erin, and I get to share some good news next year. And I'm hoping to start a new story on Wattpad that I did tell my readers I would start this fall, so I'm kind of behind the mark there, just a little. So hopefully I will find the time to do that. Yeah, so that is my 2017. Let us go to Twitter and find any last minute questions. So if you guys on Twitter have any, we have 5 minutes left.
There are lots that came in.
Okay, do you want to ask a couple?
What?
Do you want to ask a couple?
Oh my God, now I have to find them.
Yeah. Does anybody want to just talk about something while we randomly look for questions?
Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I see. What are your weaknesses and how do you work on it?
That was what I was about to ask anyway.
What are the weaknesses and how do you work on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, my weaknesses are like what kind of Taran was talking about when you don't feel motivated to write, because I am one of those people who is really easily, my emotions impress on my writing ability, and what's going on in the world has really broken my heart, to be honest. So I've felt super unmotivated, but I have some pretty crazy deadlines. So for me, I've had to literally shut off social media and shut off any distractions and just find somewhere I can go. And usually I have to go out of my house or out of my comfort areas and to find places where I can just sit down and get my words down. And usually once I start writing, they come to me more naturally. So that's how I've overcome that weakness as a writer for me this last few months. Anybody else want to answer that?
My weakness. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to basically repeat what Rebecca said, like the distractions, like I am terrible when it comes to distractions. And so I have to be careful of social media because that will suck me right in and not let me go. So I pretty much have to force myself to turn off everything and not allow myself to like, oh, I'll just check Twitter. Oh, I'll just check Facebook. So that's what I really struggle with. And I will make myself, turn off my cell phone and put it in a drawer until I write a certain amount of words. So.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think my weakness is just, I know Taran touched on it before, is editing while I'm writing. And it kind of fell into that when I was editing one book and writing another one. And then I found myself like editing the one I was writing, and it just slowed me down so much. So now I just make sure, like when I see I'm like starting to check sentences, I just like, bad Monica. And I, just get back to writing.
Bad Monica.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my weakness, but I'm overcoming it slowly, so.
My weakness is second guessing myself. So I'll be writing, I'll be like, this is the best thing I ever wrote. And then I read it an hour later, I'm like, this is garbage. Like absolute garbage. And I do it all the time. And then I'll delete it and move it and then maybe come back to it. I don't even know how to fix it.
You just have a weakness.
Yeah.
I think my biggest weakness is prioritize. So like, I'm like, well, I could write this new chapter, but a new season of Baby Daddy just came out. So I could spend the night watching Netflix. So yeah, I think it's just basically like setting time aside to do everything instead of choosing like binge watching on Netflix.
Nobody else? All right, let's see. We have any last minute questions here?
I have one.
Oh, yeah.
Leah, do you want to go?
Someone asked, I can't even find it anymore, but how did Wattpad change your life? I thought it was a good question.
That's a good question. Who wants to start?
Oh my gosh.
For me, it's I guess if I hadn't started writing on there, I might never have finished The Novice. I might never have had the confidence to kind of try and become a full-time writer. And now that's what I do for a living, and it's my dream job. It's my dream life. So Wattpad certainly helped me get there, and I'll always remember that. So that's, I guess that's my answer.
Yeah, mine's basically the same. I never knew I wanted to be a writer. I always wished I could make money off of daydreaming somehow. And when I found Wattpad, I was kind of like, yes, I can do it. I can do my daydreaming in some sort of tangible way. So yeah, so that is how Wattpad changed my life. It made me kind of feel like I have direction and focus, and that all these crazy gifts I have a place somewhere in this world.
I think that I've always known I've wanted to be a writer, so I didn't have this like awakening when I got on Wattpad, but I think it definitely prepares you for what being a writer and having a fan base is going to be like, because you've got these people that have access to you in a matter of speaking, and they're commenting, you know, in real time almost as you're posting chapters, and they're emailing you and they're Facebooking you, and I know that my readers have crossed over not only from Wattpad but onto my Facebook and onto my Twitter, which is amazing. But it's definitely taught me about taking criticism without, like losing your mind over it. Because when I first joined Wattpad, one person would say like, hey, I don't think this character is realistic, and I'd be just like mopey for like a day. So, and that doesn't happen anymore, because you get a thicker skin, and I think it gets you used to criticism, and maybe having someone not agree with what you've written or a character you've created, and it gets you used to that, because that's a very real thing that's going to happen to you when you publish a book and you have it on the shelves. So I think it prepares you for that.
Well, Wattpad has changed my life because I basically joined Wattpad for free books. I never, ever anticipated writing on Wattpad. So, I mean, when I joined Wattpad, I was going to be a chiropractor. And now with a semester left in school, I have no idea what I'm going to be. So that's fun. But yeah, I mean, Wattpad has completely changed my life. Like, I've met so many amazing people. I've done so many amazing things. I've worked with brands. I've been to Canada. I've been to New York. I mean, I can't even express in words how much Wattpad has changed my life.
Yeah, for me, it's basically the same as Rachel. It made me believe in myself that I could actually achieve something that I always thought was like a wild dream, unachievable, and Wattpad made it possible. So yeah, I'm very thankful, and all the people I've met, it's been amazing.
Agreed. Obviously for me, I probably wouldn't have had the self-confidence to even like pitch it to an agent or a publisher. So just getting published in general was all thanks to Wattpad and my readers. But I think the biggest impact for me has just even been the community of writers on Wattpad. I've made some really great friends throughout it, and just to know that they have your back, not only in writing, but in other aspects of your life, I think has been something I never could have imagined would have happened, and I'm so thankful that it did.
Did we all answer? Leah, did you answer?
I did not.
Okay, go.
It's basically what everybody else said, plus you three girls. You three girls. And, you know, I'm way more confident as a writer since joining Wattpad. And of course, they provided me with endless opportunities to explore that.
Oh, I want to add something. Are you done?
Yep.
You just reminded me when you said you three girls. I know we've reached our time, but I'll be really quick. Wattpad has made me a better person, and I say that because I have readers from around the world reading and giving me their feedback on my work, and it's really opened up my mindset and taken me out of my small Canadian city and given me global perspective, and I'm really thankful for that. But does anybody want to add anything? Because it's about time to say goodbye here. No? Okay, people who are watching, I'm so sorry. There's so many questions we didn't get to, but some of us will go through after the chat and try to answer them on Twitter. Thank you again for tuning in, and thank you so much to all our guests for coming. You guys were awesome. Your insight was so awesome, and it's such a delight to know you and have you a part of the community. And yeah, we won't be here next week. We are going to be having our holidays, so come back in January 2017 for the next Wattpad4 chat. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Good night.